What is good, everybody? This is Dale from Upstate Bets and DFS. I'm here with my partner Reoz, as well as my buddy Braxton. We're covering UFC 276. You can call him Bubs as well. That's what we're going to be calling him here and there. That's just like his nickname, so that's what he's going to be called. And then, yeah, we're covering our sportsbook picks over here for UFC 276. We covered our prize picks video for the player props. Go check that one out. Prize picks is usually our go-to for our player props. You can sign up using promo code Upstate. They'll match you dollar for dollar all the way up to $100. So this is going to be an awesome card. Can't wait to get to this card. 4th of July weekend. Going to be super cool. We also have some Patreon stuff going on. Riaz, tell me about that.
Yeah, check out the Patreon. You can find it at patreon.com/upstate. We're doing a summer sale with no NBA, no NFL. We're going to be covering a ton of MLB early slates, main slates. We're going to be covering bets, player props for UFC, not only the pay per views, but the fight nights. And we're also going to be covering golf over on the Patreon. Not only the majors, but we're going to be doing weekly tournaments. We might even dive into the live scene as well. Instead of $20, we're knocking it down to 10, 50% off. Two for the price of one. You really cannot beat it. Dale's been all over the MMA scene. Now we got Bubs over on the Patreon as well with a couple of his bets. So really great value. You cannot beat it. Everything's going to be linked in the description below. But once again, you can find it at patreon.com/upstate.
Yeah, I don't want to jinx ourselves as well. But the last couple UFC cards we've covered has been absolute bangers, absolute smashes as well. Over on the Patreon stuff, last time we had a nice little 3-leg parlay. The time before that, we went 6-0 as well on UFC. So we've been killing it, and the videos have been doing well. So thank you all for this support as well over the summer. It's been awesome. But before we dive into this card, in particular, Bubs, I just want to hear your thoughts on the card overall as I preview the rest of the fights on the screen, and just your thoughts on the card and how excited you are for it.
Honestly, man, it's probably the best part of the year. Um, from top to bottom, it's a good fights from top to the bottom. Other than the first fight of the night, that's a little lackluster, but all the other ones, man, are either up and coming contenders or prospects or champions, man. You really can't complain about any of these fights. I mean, we even got a couple fan favorites fighting, like Cerrone versus Jim Miller, man. So buckle your seatbelts and man, we're in for a wild ride.
I think so as well, man. And as we dive into this, let's get to Riaz's picks first. So Riaz here, tell me about your picks.
Yeah, I got three picks. Three picks I really like, and three really close fights. You're gonna find some plus money on one of my guys, and you're gonna find guys right around even money. So the first guy I want to talk about is Robbie Lawler here. This is somebody who's been in the UFC. He's had the title. He's lost the title. He's been in a plethora of five round fights. I think this bodes well for him trying to make another title run in a 3 round fight. I think he's one of those guys that goes out there and just displays a ton of damage. I mean, he can take you down, he can hold you down there, and he can also stand in box and do a ton of stuff. So really like Robbie Lawler here at minus 115. The next guy that I really like here, and this is a up and coming guy. We've heard a lot about him sparring. Nobody wants to spar him, and that's Sean Strickland. He's sitting at minus 120 right now. Two up and comers in this fight. I think Sean Strickland's got the edge here, just considering he trains like he fights in the octagon. He wants to rip your head off. He just demolishes all of his sparring partners. We saw Sean O'Malley talking about how he would never spar him. There's no point of sparring somebody who's out there to hurt you, and I kind of like that. He brings a different edge. He's been calling out Israel, saying he's going to take his head off. He's going to hold him down. Something that no one really has been able to do. And honestly, I would love to see that fight. I mean, there's a ton of guys Strickland's going to have to go through in order to get that fight. But if he comes out here, gets a first round knockout, gets a second round knockout, and just finishes him in fantastic fashion, we could see that title fight faster than not. I don't want to get ahead of this fight right now, but really love Sean Strickland here. And the last guy I want to talk about is somebody in one of the title fights, and that's Max Holloway. He's sitting at plus 165. He might have had better odds in different sports books, but I'm looking on DraftKings Sportsbook. We saw two really close fights already versus Alex Volkanovski. I really thought Max Holloway won that second fight. It was a super close fight, and I really don't think you can beat Max Holloway 3 times in a row. He's coming off two 5 round fights, two unanimous decisions. This is somebody who not only has great defense, but he can piece you up in many different ways. He's one of the best boxers in this division, and just the guys that he's fought. I mean, he's fought Poirier, he's fought McGregor, just Brian Ortega. I mean, the list goes on, and he's lost some of those fights. He's won some of those fights. He's not scared to really mix it up with anybody. I believe everybody has seen his clip where he's pointing at the ground. He's saying, we're just going to finish this off. And that's how Max Holloway fights. He puts the pressure on. He's not one to take anybody down. He just wants to stand there and throw fists. And I love the way he fights. And with the length and the reach that he has on Volkanovski, I really think he takes advantages here. And I wouldn't be shocked if we see him put Volkanovski down.
Yeah, and just to advise, these things change. Minute by minute, these lines are different from what I have on the screen. Are definitely going to be different than what's offered tomorrow. But as it sits right now, as a three-leg parlay, plus 777 over on FanDuel Sportsbook. I'd imagine it's right around there, similar, if not better or worse, over on different sites. But plus 777 Reoz. What do you think of this as a three-leg parlay?
Yeah, I wouldn't mind putting this as a 3 leg. My advice is if you're gonna parlay it, put lower money on the parlay, put a little bit more on the 3 straight bets, and honestly, if you go 2 for 1, you're gonna make some money, and if all three hit, I mean, you're gonna have yourself one heck of a night. So parlay it, take them all straight, just parlay it. I mean, love all three of these picks.
Yeah, and I'm diving into two picks. I'm particularly going to be doing a two-leg parlay here. I like the parlays, and I'm actually going to be swinging on both these guys. No pun intended. Both Adesanya and O'Malley by KO. Plus 170 for Adesanya and plus 160 for Sean O'Malley. Comes in at plus 602 on FanDuel Sportsbook. Like I said, could be better or worse on different sites. But this is going to be my two-leg parlay. Adesanya, definitely a guy who's going to stay on his feet. I definitely think he has a really solid chance to knock out, relatively early in this fight. And O'Malley, a guy, probably fighting his best opponent to date. He's just a fan favorite here. There's going to be a ton of guys on him, especially on his money line. But I really like him by KO with the plus money. Definitely a guy that, the guy he's facing has never been knocked out before. However, I think if one guy can do it, it's definitely going to be O'Malley. And, he can wear O'Malley down for sure. I can definitely see this fight going both ways. But for me, chasing the money here, just throwing out a crazy pick. I like both these two in a two-leg parlay.
Ooh, all right, Dale coming in hot with the big money, big plus money. But I got to be honest, me and Riaz got a little 1v1 head-to-head battle here, man. Because he's got Holloway, I got Volkanovski in a parlay with O'Malley. If I'm being honest, I like Holloway, for the parody and for the storyline. I'd like him to win, but my gut is telling me that Volkanovski is going to win, man. Miracles don't always happen in fights. We've seen two fights, two 5-minute fights, 5-round fights already with these guys where Volkanovski dominated most of the minutes, and in a close fight where it might come down to a big punch or especially a takedown, I think Volkanovski does a better job at taking those big opportunities and winning those big minutes. And so I'm gonna lock him in with O'Malley. I think O'Malley's a safe play. I think he's the cash cow for the UFC. And if you're going to pick a ranked fighter for O'Malley to beat, it's going to be a guy who doesn't really have a ground game and who just is a punching bag on the feet. And if anybody is that and ranked for that division, it's probably Munoz. So I like O'Malley there with Volk. And parlay them both together, you get plus 102. I think that's a safe, relatively good play. For my second pick, pretty straightforward. And the Duplessis versus Tavares fight, I like the under for minus 110. Tavares is known to be a little bit durable, but he brings the fight. He throws hard, and he doesn't really bring the fight to the ground. So I like this fight to stay upstanding. And for Duplessis, he's only got 2 fights in the UFCs and 2 knockouts pretty early on. So this guy knows nothing but finishes, nothing but action, and he likes these type of fights. And with the value at -110, I really, really love that play right there, man. And for a little tease in the showbiz, they call this a tease. I do have a third pick, but you're only gonna be able to get this one on the Patreon, man, because this one is a lock. This one is a heater. So if you want this last pick of mine, go check it out on the Patreon, man. These guys work very hard every single day, every single week for the Patreon, and I'm just gonna bless you with a free pick on there. So go check it out.
Yeah, highly advised going to check that out. Bubs is on a tear for UFC week in, week out. Definitely a guy that helps me out. In my UFC space as well. And I think he had a really good pick as well over on the Prize Picks video. So go check that out. And really excited to get to this card, man. It's going to be a really exciting weekend for everyone to watch. Not much else going on, just some UFC stuff as well as 4th of July weekend. So everyone stay safe. Check out the other videos as well as Upstate Talks. We did a podcast over there. Reoz also doing MLB content, so check those out. Stay safe this weekend. Peace out, guys.